point out that the sun shines down its power to all the world and makes the wind blow strong as it will. I wonder how gentle rains can fall upon the land, so lovely earth can stay lovely still.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 661st edition of Energy Week with George Harvey, that's me, and Nancy Wolf, the amazing Nancy Wolf.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna move that over there.
Yeah.
And this is all news aggregation. It's just news articles that I've picked up in the last week. I have 3 for each day in the last week, which is what I usually do. They come from my blog, geoharvey.com, geoharvey.com, which usually has 15 articles, but it can have as few as 10 on given days. Sunday's pretty slow, and you know, the Monday news that I get on Monday morning is just from Sunday, so that's pretty slow.
Yep.
But there are ways that you can get to just the material on this show, one of which is to scroll around until you find a link to tinyurl/energyweek661. You know, we're going to come up with 666 soon. Do you know 666?
Yeah, I do know 666.
Okay.
Yeah.
666 is not the only number of the beast of the apocalypse. There are other numbers that are also the number of the beast of the apocalypse.
Well, tomorrow is January 6th.
Well, you can't get to 667 without going through 666. So we're just going to have to live with that when the time comes, which is going to be in a little over a month. Okay. The other thing is, I think this week I got smart and put the link at the end of the description for the show.
Great.
The problem was the link doesn't work there because I can't get it to actually link.
Like hyperlink, yeah. Yeah.
But you can copy it and paste it and go that way. Okay. We're going to go from the beginning. How about that? That's a good way to do things.
That sounds
good.
good.
This is a picture of a wind farm.
And this is from MSN.
MSN.
While Trump opposes wind energy, how many jobs is clean energy providing the EU?
Donald Trump called clean energy the, quote, green new scam, end quote. At the World Economic Forum, he was talking to people. Some of those people know a lot. And I think they know a lot more than he does. But, you know, I could be wrong. In Davos. But countries across the globe are investing more and more in renewable energy industry. In 2024, the EU had 1.8 million renewable energy jobs.
People like jobs, apparently. Apparently jobs are very popular. People like the idea of having more jobs, having more opportunities for employment, being available.
Yeah, I had a job once. I did.
Great.
I made gadolinium oxide.
Yes, that's true.
Well, I had other jobs
You had
too,
other jobs.
but it was nice to make gadolinium oxide. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead unless you've got something to add to that.
No.
This is a picture of a monarch butterfly.
Yeah.
And there's in the back of his wings, close to his body, there's 2 things that look kind of like knobs on the veins on the wings. And those are scent glands that male monarch butterflies have.
I see.
So this is a male.
Okay. So this is from Euronews.
Yeah.
Monarch butterflies face a 3,000 kilometer migration. Can they survive with dwindling nectar supplies?
Well, that's a problem. A study published in Global Change Biology Communications, what a name, found an increase of 0.6 degrees Celsius, which is 1 degree Fahrenheit, was enough to lower the quality of the nectar monarchs feed on. Those that fed on warmer blooms built up about a quarter less body fat than normal. You don't think of monarch butterflies as having body fat.
No,
right?
I've never had that thought.
Never. Monarch butterflies were up in 2025. And I think part of the reason for that is because a lot of people are becoming aware of the fact that they've got to have milkweed growing and blooms that are going to attract them to give them food along the way. Monarch butterflies have a fascinating migration system. The ones who are in the north will fly around here and all the way out to like New Brunswick, will fly to Mexico for the winter. And those butterflies actually make that entire migration. Going in the other direction, they have generations. So the first generation will take them part of the way, and the second generation will take them part of the way, and the third generation, maybe if there is one, will take them the final distance, because the second one might take them the final distance. But I looked at that and I thought, this is crazy. And I came up with a sentence I want to read. This comes from Wikipedia. The generation undertaking the southbound migration lives 8 times as long as their parents or grandparents due to a regulatory age-inducing hormone.
Oh.
Now, I looked and I couldn't find any other animal that had a hormone of that type. So if these guys went extinct, the people who want medical things that will allow them to live far longer than their parents might not have access to that hormone. Do you suppose it's worth, just on this practical, greedy basis, saving the monarch butterflies? Or are we going to have to just live with having them saved because people think they're pretty and like them?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same result.
Yeah. Well, for the butterflies it may
Yes.
be, and for most of us it may be, but some people who have a lot of money might have to be induced with regulatory age-inducing hormones.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things in nature that are very, very valuable. Okay, should we go on?
Yeah, let's go on.
We have a picture of solar power on a dry landscape.
Yeah, so this is from Boiling Cold.
I don't know anything about it. That's just the name.
Yep. So the headline here is Southwest Washington grid.
No, not Washington.
Okay, Southwest Western Australia grid
you got
beats 50% of renewable energy, reducing power prices 13%.
Southwest Western Australia. Just imagine that. This is like East Westmoreland or
Go around.
West Northfield. Okay. Southwest Western Australia's power grid reached a record 91% peak renewable energy share in December. That's amazing. Driven by 1,225 megawatts, which is 1.225 gigawatts, of new battery storage. Wholesale power prices fell 13%. Well, what would you expect them to do? And carbon emissions dropped 15% as coal and gas generation declined. Well, it's cheaper to use sunlight to make electricity than to use coal to make electricity or gas to make electricity. Yeah. So, that's what you... And of course, there are organizations in Australia that sit back and say, well, this is terrible. Our grid is unstable because 91% of it is renewable. 10 years ago, they were saying if we reach 10%, it'll be unstable. And it was just about that time that I saw a coal-burning power plant, I forget what state it was in, had tripped. So all of a sudden, the electricity produced by that plant was not available on the grid. So the price of electricity went from $65 per megawatt hour to $10,000 per megawatt hour because of the nature of Australia, which is kind of sparse, you know. I don't know. People who talk about this don't, very often they don't understand the facts.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're up to Friday, January 30th. I didn't give the dates for this show at the beginning. I always do, and I didn't this time. We're recording this on the 5th of February, and this show is from the 29th of January to the 4th of February. So, we want this thing with a monopile installation.
Yeah, so this is from Renews. Subsea 7 wins Jenniker installation contract.
Subsea 7 won it. I don't understand, because I checked this. There's Subsea 7 and there's Subway 7, and they are related. But I don't understand. Anyway, Subway 7, that sounds like...
No, it's Subsea and Seaway.
Oh, I'm sorry, Seaway 7.
See what I mean? It's just...
Yeah, it's...
Just switch them all around.
Yes. Won a contract from Skyborn, which is another horrible name, for work on the Jenniker offshore wind farm in Germany. Well, no wonder they have names like that. It's in Germany.
Yes.
The company said the contract is worth between $150 million and $300 million. That's pretty widespread. Seaway 7, and I did read that correctly.
Yes, you did.
Said the scope includes transportation and installation of 63 monopiles and transition pieces. And what you're seeing in that picture is a ship that is unloading the first part of a monopile, so they can, attach it to the whatever it is on the base of the ocean. I don't know how these people do this, but those cranes and stuff are huge.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's pretty big.
It's pretty big. Yeah. Well, you can look at the front of that thing and see how many stories tall that is.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I love this picture.
Oh, good. So this is from Euronews. The rise of cold climate viticulture and new unexpected destinations for wine lovers.
Right. Think about European wines, and certain destinations spring to mind, places you jet off to, no, I wouldn't jet off to, in search of sunny weather. But with a changing climate and new hybrid grapes, the wine landscape is evolving, with vineyards popping up in Northern Europe. And this particular vineyard that you see here is in Devon. Mm-hmm. And I know, I used to live in Devon. Devon is pretty big, actually, and I didn't live anywhere near where this thing is, because this is near Plymouth, and I was on the other side of Exeter from it. But I know that countryside, and they had to have torn down ancient hedgerows,
right,
to get that in, and that hedge that it looks like it's across the middle of the thing might actually be a hedgerow that was left in place. And I sit here and I think I talked to a farmer. I was pretty young in those days. I was 15, and I was talking to a farmer, and we were standing at a hedgerow, and there was a stile. You know what a stile is?
No.
Okay. A stile is a set of stairs that you can step up and over and down the other side of a hedgerow. Okay? This stile was stones just sticking out of the hedgerow. Mm-hmm. And they looked like they were weird because they couldn't have been properly placed like that. They were not supporting anything except people. I said, isn't there another way to get into this field? And he said, nope, that's the only way. And I said, what do you do with the grass in there? He said, sheep graze on it. I said, how do the sheep get into the field? He said, you carry them.
That's right. Yes.
And This is a big change from that, but I kind of like it. Yeah, things could be worse. It's better, I think, to change a field in Devon to a vineyard than it is to, I don't know, build a factory for AI.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What can I say? Okay, here is, this is a picture I really like.
Yeah, well, okay, this is from ABC News. And the headline here is this polar bear population is thriving despite some of the most drastic sea ice loss in the Arctic.
Yeah, this surprised me. And here's this polar bear. I love this picture. I can't tell, is that polar bear doing a victory clasp like prize fighters do if they win? Or is it just showing off its muscles and it hasn't figured out how to do that yet?
No.
Or is it doing something else? I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. That polar bear looks very cuddly.
Yeah, that polar bear does look very cuddly.
Don't want to cuddle with a bear.
You might not want to cuddle with the bear, but he does look very cuddly.
I have read horror stories about people who try cuddling with bears, and sometimes I'm not going to go any further with that.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Horrible. Polar bears that live along the Barents Sea near Svalbard, which is between Norway and the North Pole. I didn't know there was anything between. Seem to be thriving despite the archipelago having some of the worst sea ice loss in the Arctic, according to a study in Scientific Reports. And it happens that these polar bears that live in that particular part of the world are benefiting from climate change. So far, the day, if things change, things will change for them. But for now, they are benefiting. So,
okay,
I will leave it at that and go on. We're up to Saturday, January 31st.
Oh.
And we have an article from Clean Technica on a solar array in China.
Yes. So the headline here is Chinese renewable energy revolution affects the whole world.
Yeah. Now I've lost it. I will find it. There we go. Jeremy Wallace is a professor of China studies at Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies. He claims the glut of solar power has cut the average cost of generating electricity to 4 cents per kilowatt hour, which may be the cheapest form of energy in the history of humanity. And, that the graph that we had last week that came from Next Air Energy showed they expected that by the end of this decade, which is like 4 years from now, the price of solar and wind power backed up so that it's near firm with batteries is going to drop below 3 cents per kilowatt hour. That's the cost of generation. And, it's mind-boggling to see this happening. And the idea that anybody would want to sell us on nuclear power or, for crying out loud, coal, the Chinese are building coal power plants. They're going to build more of them this year than they did last year. Almost twice as many. I don't know what that actually means, though. They might be building smaller plants. This array, this particular solar array, is featured in another photograph later in the show.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah.
It's not the same picture. I looked to see if it's the same picture. It wasn't the same picture. And then as I was assembling this, I looked at these two pictures and I said, whoa. And then I saw that it was the same photographer, and I don't know anything about what the name is. It's just 3
characters.
Yeah. And I honestly don't even know whether that is Chinese, because the third character doesn't look Chinese to me. It looks like it's Japanese. But nevertheless, okay, we are going to go on This is interesting. We've talked about it before.
Yes, this is very interesting. This is from Microgrid Media.
Yeah.
Some people are installing DIY solar panels to cut their electricity bills.
In many places, subsidies for rooftop solar ended in 2025, making full professional solar installations more expensive for ordinary households. But electricity rates are high in many areas, and removing the incentives has made DIY solar more appealing. So electricity rates are so high that people are installing their own solar panels just to get around them. And I should explain what this thing is. There's two approaches to this. One of them is actual balcony solar. And the solar panel is connected directly to an inverter that is connected directly to a dedicated wall outlet. So this thing is producing electricity that's just going into the grid. And there are things that I don't like about that. And part of it is, in generally speaking, there are millions of installations. There's at least 1 million in Germany. But there's a lot of installations. Let me put it that way. There's over 1 million. And there are states in the United States that are making this legal. And Vermont is one of the states that's at least looking at that. And the thing that I don't like about it is it needs a dedicated socket that will not be used for anything else. But the plug is the same. Which means somebody could plug a lamp into that socket or plug a refrigerator into that socket or whatever. And that combination of solar power coming from one direction and grid electricity coming from another direction can lead to the line being overtaxed and the breaker in the breaker box not having any way of knowing. That's not a good idea, in my opinion. However, that's a detail. And there are ways to avoid any problem. But that's one way to do this. Another thing is the cost of batteries has gone through the floor. And I have, people around me have bought batteries that are enough to keep, well, certainly at my usage, it would keep me going for a couple of days. And the battery is a battery that holds electric power.
Yeah.
You charge it, it'll hold 3 kilowatt hours, the one that I've got. There are bigger ones and smaller ones. But it has a charge controller built into it. It has an inverter built into it. It's got outlets all along one side. It's got inputs where you can plug in a relatively low voltage solar panel group, or you can plug in a relatively high voltage solar group, which is upwards of 60 volts, the low voltage being under 60 volts. It can be plugged into a wall. It can be plugged into 2 different solar systems and a wall all at the same time, and be producing electricity for your computer, your television, your whatever, all at the same time. They can all go on at the same time, which means you can use it as an uninterruptible power supply, and it just sits there. And this is not terribly expensive. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. They get solar power, there's a grid outage, they can't get electricity from the solar panels, because the only way they can do that is if the solar panels feed into something that looks like the grid. It's got to be something that can take power from a solar panel through an inverter. And that means that in the system you have to have a battery, or the solar panels won't provide you power in an outage.
Right.
This thing is big enough, to keep something going for a while. So I think it's worthwhile looking at that.
Yes.
And there are several different. I went looking for places you could get solar panels, solar batteries rather, to backup batteries. Anchor Solix is one. It's ANKERSOLIX. Jackery is another. Don't remember the third. There are a bunch of them.
Yes.
You just look it up on the internet and you'll find them. And they all have deals. And they all say this costs $999, but today you'll get it for $450.
Absolutely. You get this other free thing and then that free thing. Yes. Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we should go on.
Yeah, let's go on.
This is a picture of an ice storm.
Ah, yes. So this is from ABC News. And the headline here is thousands still without power as brutal temperatures head to the south.
Now, those people didn't have batteries.
No.
The South is about to be walloped with more winter weather less than a week after an ice storm hit the region. Now, of course, this is all in the past tense now because this is Saturday that it's being reported from Friday News. And today is Thursday after this, so it's, the winter weather less than a week after ice storm hit the region, closing highways and taking down power lines and trees. The National Weather Service issued cold weather alerts from Texas to Tennessee and Florida, and I'll tell you, it is cold here, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, it is cold here. I had a conversation with some folks for the holiday this weekend, Jewish holiday, and we were just sort of talking about it. And there are people who really like winter.
Yes, there are.
And I say, well, this is really cold. And other people say, oh, well, we haven't had very cold winters in a while. I think this is good. And I say, no, this is not good. This is not good. No, it's not. Because when you have there's such a phrase as bone chilling. There's such a phrase as when you are cold and then continue to be cold and then do not get recovery from that cold. Like do not get, go into the heat. But if you're consistently going from cold to cold to cold, your head is just not going to do. You're just not going to do well.
It's debilitating.
Yeah. It's.
I had frostbite when I was 13.
Yeah.
And that was cold.
Yes.
And I lived in this area when I was a kid, and I remember where in the place where I lived, where the thermometer that we had said it was 30 below. And I always kind of assumed that would be more or less the lowest temperature we'd see each winter would be in the range of between 20 and 30 below zero. And I haven't seen temperatures like that. We've had, where I live, I think the coldest temperature we've had this winter so far has been 2 or 3 below.
Yeah.
And that was, when is this going to go away?
Yeah.
It's really awful. But the thing is, that cold weather, when it's colder than 10 below zero, one of the things that happens at those horrible cold levels is that some things die.
Yes.
And among them are ticks.
Oh, that is also what someone else brought up on this conversation was saying, well, the ticks are,
Yeah, the ticks
that people have that feeling. And I'm just, yeah.
And another thing, we have quail, and the quail have put up with the weather. They just, they're not big birds, but they just sit out there and kind of bundle together a little bit to warm each other up. And they'll like it when spring comes. Okay.
As will I.
Yeah. We're up to Sunday, February 1st, and we have a picture of Indian farmland.
Yeah. So this is from MSN. Economic survey warns of cost, grid as key challenges for renewable energy.
India must address challenges such as high capital costs, delays in acquiring land, and grid availability issues to sustain its rapid renewable energy growth, said the Economic Survey 2025 to 2026. By the way, in India, the fiscal year, I don't know when it starts, but it's like April to April or something.
Different month.
So it's always, 1 year to the next. The economic survey notes that the hurdles can be tackled with good policy.
Yes.
I have a feeling the Indians are so amazing,
Yes.
the way that they do their math. Did you know that they don't do math the same way we do? You didn't.
I don't know about the math.
Okay. In India, in the United States, you have 3 digits, 4 units, 3 for thousands, 3 for millions, 3 for billions, 3 for trillions, 3 for, it goes on. And there is an illogical point in that, because you're going million is 1, but it has six zeros.
Yeah.
And you would think that the case, you'd add another 6 zeros to get to billions. And that's the way they used to do it in Europe, but the American system has prevailed because America is so great. In India, that isn't how they do it. They have 3 digits for units, 2 for thousands. 100,000 is called a lakh, L-A-K-H, 2 digits for lakh. Then comes the crore. A crore is 10 million. Now, in the old days, they would do 2 digits for crore, and they'd go to an arab, and then they'd do 2 digits for that, and go to a karab. But today, that isn't so. They do 3 digits for units of crore and 2 digits for 1,000 crore, and then they have a lakh crore. You got that?
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to convert 6 lakh crore rupees into dollars, you have to figure it out twice, and it's not easy. All you got to do is miss 1 digit, and you're off by a factor of 10. Okay. As I said, the Indians will figure. Well, the Indian culture is a culture that loves mathematics. Loves mathematics. You go back to Vedic Sanskrit, and they love mathematics. It's just there. I think that is the reason why there's so many computer programmers who are Indian. Okay, here's a picture of Kyiv.
Yes.
And that is the city in the distance.
I see. So this is from ABC News. Power outages hit Ukraine and Moldova as Kyiv. I haven't said this word in so long. Kyiv struggles against the winter cold.
Emergency power cuts swept across several Ukrainian cities as well as neighboring Moldova, officials said, as a commitment came from the Kremlin to U.S. President Donald Trump to pause strikes on Kyiv as Ukraine battles one of its bleakest winters in years. Well, whether they did promise or not, they just kept on bombing.
Yeah.
They cut off for a few hours, and then that was that.
Yeah.
By the way, Moldova does not border on Russia. Russia is east of Ukraine. Moldova is west of Ukraine, at least 520 miles from Russia. I don't know why they have power outages in Moldova. I don't know what Russian missiles are, but the Russians do whatever they want.
Yes.
When Putin took over Kremlin, I knew we were in trouble, because he said he was criticized for this widely in the world stage, and he said the bear does not ask permission.
Yep.
And I said, uh-oh.
Yep.
That's dangerous.
It is.
We have a story about this guy.
Yeah, that we do. Yeah. Well, this is from Clean Technica. Elon Musk may buy another election, pitting Republicans against each other.
Yeah, isn't that heartening?
Yeah.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk has a knack for putting himself in the media spotlight. Barely 1 month into the new year, he has already hit the trifecta of sex, politics, and more sex.
Don't want to know about that.
Well, one thing that has at least become clear to me in the last year and a half is that Elon Musk has 14 children.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And the other thing is he's also mentioned quite a lot in the Epstein files. Mm-hmm. The retirement of Senator Mitch McConnell provides Musk with a political opportunity.
This is my stress. This is my face of stress. No. I'm telling him no.
You're telling him no.
Don't do that, Mr. Musk. Do not do that. Thank you.
If he does it this way, my prediction is he will lose. Because when you put people together too badly in the same party, the other party wins. So if he's going to put Republicans against Republicans, the Democrats are probably going to win as a result. And I have seen nothing indicating to me that Republicans are going to be winning in the midterms. Maybe they're going to do something that'll foul up my foresight on that. But okay, we're up to Monday, February 2nd. And we have a picture of 3 orbiting data center designs.
Yes.
They look like wristwatches.
Yeah, they look like watches. They look like watches, yes. This is from Clean Technica. SpaceX proposes 1 million solar-powered data centers in Earth orbit.
Isn't that grand? SpaceX thinks it has an answer to the question of how to power data centers. Before we do that, we should ask the question of whether we want data centers, shouldn't we? The Chinese are doing it, but the Chinese are making solar panels. Instead of making data centers, maybe we should start by making solar panels. On January 30th, 2026, it filed a request with the Federal Communications Commission to launch up to 1 million solar-powered satellites that will serve as data centers for artificial intelligence. I hope there's life on another planet and they come and save us from ourselves.
From our artificial
intelligence.
Pretty artificial, sounds like.
It sounds like.
Our intelligence is not done so well these days.
I use artificial intelligence daily. I really do. I ask questions that would take me a long time to look up, but artificial intelligence, well, let's see. We should rename it artificial stupidity, artificial, what? What's another word?
Ask Jeeves. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is...
Laziness?
No, it's not laziness. They're trying to solve things that human beings can't do.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
right. Okay.
I just don't feel good about it. I was telling you before the show about something that Margaret Mead had written, and it was about people in a longhouse in Polynesia, and it sounded like that Cole Porter's song, that about when we want to work, we work, and when we want to dance, we dance, and they would come in and some of them would go to sleep, some of them would eat pork, some of them would tell stories, some of them would sing, some of them would dance, and they just kind of shifted all night. And then daylight would come and they'd all go to work, fishing, or whatever it was they were going to do. Yeah. I think we're in the wrong business. We don't understand that the ultimate goal is not wealth.
Right.
Okay. You want to go on?
Yes.
Oops. There we go.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is from Renews. Vattenfall removes mines for Nordlicht build.
Vattenfall. I think that might be how they pronounce it. Vattenfall is Swedish, I think. has completed removal of 3 World War II mines from the 16,000 megawatt Nordlicht offshore wind farm site after geophysical surveys found magnetic anomalies interpreted as possible unexploded ordnance. A remotely operated vehicle, thank you. If I were operating that vehicle, I wouldn't want to be on it. Found each to have the equivalent of 200 to 300 kilograms of TNT. That's 441 to 662 pounds. That's a lot of TNT.
Yeah. I definitely would not want a person on a vehicle going through World War II mines.
I knew a guy who was in London during the Second World War as a young boy. And he said the young boys would find bombs.
Yeah.
And they would, go off to the authorities and tell them there's a bomb there. And the authorities would come and take it. And I don't know how they got rewarded for that. They might have got a little change, or they might have just got praise, but they felt that it was very worthwhile doing it. Okay, and TNT, of course, is trinitrotoluene. So, anyway, I don't like that picture. I'm going to go away from it.
Okay.
This is a solar site in Queensland.
Yeah. So this is from PV Magazine International. Australian renewables exceed 50% of power supply in Q4.
Renewable generation supplied over half of Australia's electricity in the fourth quarter of 2025, driving wholesale prices down by nearly 50%. Do you think that's worth doing? And coinciding with record battery output. Coal-fired generation fell 4.6% year on year, and gas-fired output was down 27%. They have a lot of coal in Australia, not a lot of gas. But, there it is. And I don't know, I should comment on when you have baseload power, coal, gas, nuclear, it is the baseload power that you've got is never sufficient to supply the grid with 100% of its electricity demand for any length of time. And by length of time, I mean 15 minutes. And the reason is because what is the base load? It is the lowest load. Look it up. It's the lowest load that the grid is going to have. That's
why they call it the base.
That it is the base. Why do they build base load power plants? Because it's cheap to build them and have them supply electricity, because they don't need the bells and whistles that are used to follow the load. So what do they do instead? They have all kinds of super expensive power plants that provide for that load. Solar and wind, by contrast, can be built. It's not something that somebody's going to do, but at least in theory it can be done to supply 100% of grid demand 100% of the time. You add batteries to
I
them,
was just going to say batteries. Well,
you've got something that works better than baseload.
Yeah.
The power is better, for one thing. Baseload power takes a lot it takes a long time to catch up with changes in grid demand. And when you've got a battery, it's seconds and you're done. Sometimes far less than a second. So we're up to Tuesday, February 3rd, and we have a picture of a jack-up ship.
Yeah. So this is from WebPro News. Renewable energy sees 99% of new capacity additions in 2026.
Now, this is upcoming.
Yeah.
The U.S. energy sector is at an inflection point that few analysts predicted even a decade ago. FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC data shows that 99%, actually 99.2%, of all generating capacity added to the United States, to be added to the United States in 2026, will be renewable. It is what industry experts describe as a fundamental restructuring. Actually, this shouldn't be surprising news because it was basically the same last year.
Yeah.
Renewable generating sources are beating coal. This is not part of my synopsis, it's just a note. Beating coal and nuclear. They are growing to rival natural gas. They're way ahead of coal. They're way ahead of nuclear. If you lump all the renewable energy together, it's bigger than coal and nuclear put together. And it's getting to the point where a couple of years from now, it's going to beat natural gas. So there you have that. Now,
Yep.
we have an offshore wind farm.
Yeah, we do. And this is from ABC News. Another judge rejects Trump effort to block offshore wind, says New York project can resume.
Federal Judge Royce Lamberth ruled that Sunrise Wind, an offshore wind project aimed at powering 600,000 New York homes, can resume construction, the fifth such ruling since the Trump administration halted the offshore wind projects in December. 5 out of 5. Now, they had all been had their permits given, and honestly, I think the Trump administration was just trying to punish them for doing something that they didn't like. But that's how the Trump administration has been working. So, now I'm going to go on to the next one.
Yep.
What we have here is a picture of a nuclear power plant in the distance.
Yes.
And those towers that are for that nuclear power plant might be, I don't know how tall, 20 stories? They're big. They're big. They're also used at coal plants, by the way. They're cooling towers.
Yep. So this is from Legal Planet.
Yeah.
New Trump nuclear reactor policy. Trust us.
Why not? Yeah, the Trump administration is quietly dismantling safeguards for nuclear power and seeking to limit both transparency and public input. Trump's Department of Energy wants us to blindly trust them to protect the public. Go to Minneapolis and see how people feel about that. But blind trust in the federal agencies is in scarce supply these days.
I say it should be in scarce supply for many decades ago as well.
Well, what's been going on recently?
Oh, I just mean in terms of dismantling safeguards and limiting both transparency and public input, which has been the case ever since the NRC even existed.
If they could get away with it.
Yes, they would love to. We love to do that. We want to keep the public unaware, uninformed. Then they can't fight. You can't fight something you don't know about.
Yeah.
If you don't allow any form of transparency, then you're not getting a public that really can speak.
I don't remember when I started working with the New England Coalition. It was more than 15 years ago. And they tried to fight nuclear power constantly using the same approaches.
Yeah.
Nuclear power is not safe. The people down at Vermont Yankee would counter that with, of course it's safe. What are you talking about? People die around coal plants. People die a lot in coal mines. Coal kills people. Nuclear power stops that. That's what they say. And nuclear waste, it's just a small thing. And by the way, they are planning to start shipping waste from Virginia to Idaho. Mm-hmm. And they have a special railroad car that is so heavy that it has 4 wheel trucks on it, each of which has 4 wheels.
We'd never have any sort of spill or any kind of thing that happens on a train car. Maybe not 2 years ago, but I'm just. It's unsafe.
Could a car like that be struck by lightning and with bad results? Okay, let me pose something to you.
Okay.
This actually happened. I'm not kidding. And it happened while I was working for the NEC. I remember it coming in the news. a fishing boat, Japanese fishing boat, sank. The Japanese Coast Guard went out and saved all of the people on the fishing boat. They said, what happened? And when they were told what happened, and the entire crew agreed, I don't know if it was 4 men or 5 men or 6 men, but they all agreed. When they heard what had happened, they locked them all up and told them, we will let you out when you tell us the truth. What had happened? The fishing boat had been sunk by a cow that was falling from the sky. I'm not kidding. Okay, what is the likelihood of a cow falling from the sky, sinking a fishing boat? And it turned out that the Russian government found out that their guys in some area over there had absconded with a cow in a bomber and were planning on taking it home and using it for roast beef. And the cow, which was in the Bombay, went berserk, and they realized it was kicking too much out of it, so they just opened the doors and dropped it. And they didn't know that it sank a fishing boat. Okay, we're back to what is the likelihood that thing that you've got there is going to, what was it? What is the likelihood that, what is the likelihood that you're going to have trouble transporting a dry cask storage system full of spent nuclear stuff across the United States? What is the likelihood?
Sharing is caring, apparently, George. We want to share the contamination with our
We're talking about material here. When you have a nuclear fuel rod, and you can walk up to it, you can touch it, and be fairly confident that you're probably not going to be hurt by that, although it might be a few years to find out if you are. You take one out of a nuclear reactor, you stand near it for 15 minutes, you're probably dead by tomorrow. I don't want to explain that, but we've got to have control over this stuff.
The thing is that when we're, all the issues, but one of the issues being that when we don't recycle our rods, so that means that they have a lot. They have a lot. And
if we do recycle them, then we've got to face the fact that recycling them is not safe.
No, that's not safe either. I'm just also saying that we have so much in there. It's like 99% of what we're creating.
We've used 2% of the nuclear of the uranium in that fuel rod to create an unknown assemblage. We know pretty much what it is, but we don't know exactly what results from the fission. But we do know that some of the stuff in the fission has half-lives of like half a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're up against something that has a half-life of half a second, you're not going to be able to detect it tomorrow. But today, you don't want to be near that because it's going to kill you. And the pro-nuclear people have this absolutely foolish idea of a banana equivalent dose.
Oh, yes. I've seen it so many times. I've seen it. I've seen it in Colorado. I've seen it.
All right, we have to go on.
Yes, we do.
We're behind time.
Yes.
We have an offshore wind power.
That we do. And this is from Renews.
And we're up to Wednesday, by the way, February 4th.
So Spain opens talks on first offshore auction.
Spain has opened a consultation on its debut offshore wind auction. It is asking whether a single large site should be put up on the block or whether several smaller sites, as well as what capacity should be targeted. This is complicated. It's not just decide what you're going to do and do it. Spain has a goal of delivering up to 3 gigawatts of offshore wind power by the end of the decade. Try doing that with nuclear.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's not going to work.
All right. I'm gonna go on because we are still behind schedule.
Yeah.
We have a picture of pollution.
Yep. So this is from Clean Technica. Sierra Club and partners rally to make polluters pay for climate disasters.
What an interesting idea.
I know.
Last week, Sierra Club joined partners from across the country for a Make Polluters Pay week of action, a coordinated set of advocacy actions and events aimed at holding big oil and gas companies accountable for their climate mess. It is a week of action. I have a proposal. If a person is convicted of fraud and the fraud causes somebody to die, do you think that person should be charged with murder? And if you cannot point to a single body of a person you know was killed by that person, but you can point to a fact that 20,000 people die every year because of air pollution. If you can show that, should that be part of the equation?
Remember seatbelts? Remember that whole thing when we got seatbelts?
Oh, man.
You know, we got seatbelts. That was nice.
Yeah.
We need seatbelts. Maybe a lot stronger seatbelts, but we have done things before.
Yes.
That have helped, that have been here to make it better, healthier for us.
We've got
exist.
a lot of experience, and the tobacco industry gave us a lot of experience.
Yeah, exactly. We got a lot of experience. These industries helped us find, strategy. In a sense.
We have to go on.
Yes, we do.
This is our last story.
Yes. So, I am looking at the wrong thing. So, this is from Euronews.
Yes.
As solar and wind hit record levels, why are we ignoring geothermal energy?
Well, that's a good question. A study from Stanford University, by the way, this was Mark Jacobson, who did, headed the study. He's an amazing man.
Yes, I know. Oh, yes. He
is.
I've seen it. I've seen lots of good interviews with him. Yeah.
Found that enhanced geothermal systems can, quote, significantly reduce, end quote, the amount of wind, solar, and battery infrastructure needed for a transition to clean, sustainable energy while keeping electricity prices competitive. So this is, just another way to get electric power without, that I have a note in the caption, that is steam.
Right, steam, not smoke. Yep.
Coming from these things. Steam, by the way, is a climate warming gas, but it'll only stay in the atmosphere for a half-life of 3 days. So it's a very, very minor global warming gas.
Yeah.
And we are up to the end, unless you've got comments on that. Have a beautifully affordable week.
Great. I'd like to afford.
Yeah. It would be nice to live, I don't know, in my case, I'd have to live pretty frugally to have a delightfully affordable week. But I think it's possible to
afford the week.
Afford delightful weeks. Yeah. So I'm serious.
Yes.
So we're going to say goodbye. And we hope you come back next time. And we hope you enjoyed this time.
Yes.
There you go.
Here we go.